I am live on Facebook. People are watching there. It's working today. I'm live in Zoom. That's working today. I think I sent the right link this morning. I don't know why tech hates me this week, but like that was a lot of mistakes in one day yesterday. But anyway, here we are. Everybody's working. Zoom is working. Facebook is working. I really need to share my screen for today's video. So I was really hoping that Facebook was going to work. Hi, Mariah. I'm flying solo. I wish Mariah was here with me today, but she does not want to talk about Google resources with you. So I'm here all by myself. I couldn't find an expert. So we're just going to basically kind of like walk through, if you were like me and had no idea where to begin with Google Classroom, we're going to start at the very beginning. I'm going to show you how to use the freebie that I emailed you this morning. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about Google Meet, but I actually can't get all of its features to work properly. So I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but I'll show you what I figured out. And then maybe I'll show you what's supposed to happen if your computer works properly, but mine's not doing it properly, but maybe yours will. Maybe it's just a personal problem for me. So, but I'm going to wait a couple of minutes before I get going because I started extra early today just in case Facebook wasn't going to work. Hi, Michelle. Happy Friday. This week actually flew by. Last week I found it dragged on and it was so slow and depressing, but this week I've been having so much fun. So thank you for joining me with the challenge. Really made for a better week. I'm not going to do a challenge next week because I think my husband will probably divorce me if I do another one because he needs some help parenting, but maybe later on, if this drags on forever, like for ages and ages, I'll do another challenge in a few weeks. But it is a lot of work to like set up all the emails and do the freebies and yada, yada, yada. So, but maybe somebody else will be inspired to do a challenge. Like maybe Mariah will want to do a challenge. So keep your eyes peeled in your inbox, because if I hear of any other teachers doing challenges, I'll let you guys know and I'll email them out for you. Oh, good. Julie's here and she says she has to use Google Classroom. So I'm glad that I can hopefully show you what I know. Hopefully it's enough to get you started, Julie. And I actually got an email today as well saying that we are only allowed to use Google Meet up until now. Like they haven't finished their checks, I guess, or whatever they use to decide if we can use Zoom or not use Zoom, Facebook Live and etc. So we got an email this morning saying for now just use Google Meet, which I can't get to work properly, but maybe during the live today, somebody will be able to help me. I'll show you today what is supposed to happen. I watched like 8 YouTube videos this morning on how to do it, and I'm like missing a key element in my Google Calendar, but I know how to start it like on the fly. It's just scheduling it ahead of time that I'm struggling with, but I'll show you what I know. You can check in yours and maybe it will work better for you. So this morning, hopefully you got a freebie from me. I emailed it to everybody. It's a Google freebie to use in Google Classroom that you can assign to your students. And I'm gonna just kind of start right from the beginning. I'm gonna share my screen right away with you guys today so that you can see exactly how to set up a Google Classroom if you've never made one. So I'm gonna share my screen right now. Okay, my whole desktop, perfect. And then I'm gonna go, I have like 800 tabs open, I always do, don't judge me. It is what it is. So when you are ready to start a Google Classroom for the very, very first time, if you don't already have one, the first thing you need to do is just make sure you're logged into your school email. I am not logged into my school email because I don't want to like set up a real classroom and somehow break it. But like this one that says Madam Andrea, that would be my school email. So I've like, at my school, it's SEPNA. English boards have GNESPAs. I assume every different like area has their own kind of thing, but if your school uses Google, use your school one, log into that before you start this classroom thing. Otherwise, you're going to set up a classroom with the complete wrong email address and you're not going to be able to use it. So log into your school email first, but I'm not going to do that today because I don't want to mess that up. So you're just going to type into your search bar. You can either search Google Classroom and hit the first link that pops up, or you can type in classroom .google.com and just go. And it's going to take you to a screen that looks like this. But if you've never made a classroom before, yours is going to be blank. So mine is not blank because I made this earlier so that I could show you the freebie in action because I needed somewhere to upload it to. But if you've never made a classroom before, you're just going to see like a white screen and then this plus button. And that is where you are going to go to make your classroom. So Yeah, the plus button is what you hit when you're creating a class. You're going to hit the create class button. Later, I'm going to show you how to get your students to join. They would click the join class button, but you're going to create a class. I also have all my notes typed out, so if you see me looking to the side, it's because I don't want to mess it up. So this box, if you try to do this without your school email, this box is going to pop up and say, your school has to sign up for G Suite for Education account before you can use Classroom with your students legally, because then it's much more secure for our students. It keeps them safer. There's extra privacy, extra security. So if you don't have G Suite for Education, maybe talk to your principal, especially if they're expecting you to use Google Classroom, because you need to have G Suite for Education and your school needs to sign up for that account first. So I don't know. Everywhere in Nova Scotia has this. I don't know about the rest of the country. Hopefully you guys do. So I'm going to check this box because I'm just showing you not with my school one. So I'm agreeing, like, I'm not going to use this classroom out of school with students. I'm just using it right now to show you guys how to make it. So I hit continue. I'm going to call this just maternelle. Andrea. This section, subject, and room boxes are totally optional. If you only have one roster of students, like I only have one roster of students, I'll only ever need to make like one classroom for the year. So I'm not going to fill those in. But if you're like Mariah, who said yesterday with her 50-50 model, she has two rosters of students. Like Monday, she has one group, Tuesday, she has the other group because it's 50-50 French and English. She would need to make two classrooms, but you don't need to make different classrooms, like one for math, one for reading or whatever, just one per roster of students. I'm going to leave those blank and create it. And then it's going to pop up, hopefully, with my slow internet. And now Leah's crying, so if you hear her, it's okay. Her dad's gonna calm her down. Okay, so this is my new classroom. The very first thing that you're gonna wanna do is change one of the settings, and I would do it right away so that you don't forget. So you're gonna come right here to this gear icon, and you're gonna scroll down to where it says stream here. Students can post and comment. At least for the beginning, I would definitely change it to only teachers can post or comment, because that avoids having like parents or students use it to post things that you might not want all students to see. Like confidentiality wise, you don't want a parent to like post something private in the stream, not understanding that everybody can see it and then everybody sees it. You don't want your students being able to just like hop on and maybe their parents turn around for a minute and they like type a bunch of crazy letters and post it. So I would just switch this right away to only teachers can post or comment. If you have an older group of students, maybe later on in the year, you're going to want to switch that and have your students be able to post. But I would say definitely start with only teacher can post or comment. After some explicit teaching, maybe later in the year, you're going to want to change that. But for me, for maternelle, I will only ever have me posting and commenting. And then save it. So if you're wondering what stream means here, that's kind of like your news feed. Like it would be if you had Facebook or whatever, like your news feed where everything just like pops up. But I personally want to avoid having my students add to the stream. So it would just be like, I would post there if I had an announcement or a reminder, like don't forget tomorrow's pajama day, don't forget $1 for popcorn. So you can make quick announcements like that. Or right now, if I wanted to post a video to my students or like a picture telling them that I missed them, I could post it there and everybody can see it. But you're not going to use stream to post assignments. You're not going to use the stream to put the freebie that I sent you this morning. It's just for announcements or like a hello, how are you doing kind of video. So for assignments and things to practice at home, like what I sent you this morning, you're going to go to this second tab here. It's called Classwork, and mine's all in French because I'm in a Francophone board and it says like travaux et devoirs, I think. So you click that one, and then I'm going to show you how to get the freebie that I sent you this morning up into the Classwork for your students to all access. So in this Classwork section, there's a bunch of different things that you can use in theory. Like for maternelle, I'm not going to use many of them, but I'll tell you in there in case you don't teach maternelle and you might want some more options. So if you click the create button, there's a few options. Assignment is what we're going to be using today to get that freebie up there for you. A quiz assignment could be useful. For me, for example, we've been asked to find out from parents exactly who has devices and who has internet at home. So I could use the quiz assignment will just create a Google form. So I could create a Google form right in the classroom that says, do you have internet at home? Does your child have access to a device? Yes or no? Do you need to borrow one from the school? With those 3 questions, I could just create it right in the classroom if I had already had that set up, and then parents could answer it there. So if you ever want to like survey, from me, for maternal, I wouldn't do a quiz for my students in here, but if I ever needed to like survey my parents or ask them a question or anything like that, I could post it in there, and then it would be like an assignment for the parents, but not for my students. I don't think that it's fair to ask my students to do a quiz via distance. Question, from what I've read in my research, it says it's like Kahoot. I don't really know what Kahoot is, but I assume you just like ask a question and everybody can answer it really quickly. Material you might want to use now, especially, this is where you would post something that's just for your students to like observe or like absorb, where they're not going to be doing any work or submitting anything back to you. So if you wanted to just do a read aloud video and just for your students to enjoy, you would post the video of you reading your book here in the material section. Because if you're not asking your students to like fill something out after or complete an assignment, the material is just for kind of like passive like learning, where your students are just going to like absorb something, but they're not going to submit anything back to you. Reuse post, I guess you just reuse the same post from earlier. And then the topic here is what you're going to use to create sections to help you organize. So if you remember earlier, I said that, hang on, I have to sneeze. Sorry. If you remember earlier, I said if you have one class, you're only going to create one classroom. You don't have to create one for math and one for literacy, like just one class for your whole classroom. Here is where you would put like literacy. You could even go lower, like reading, writing, communication out. I'll probably lump literacy all under one umbrella. And then math, you can add another topic for math. And then like we have integrated studies in Nova Scotia. We don't have like a separate section for social studies, health science, or whatever. So you could put integrated studies for the third one, and you could just have one that's kind of like or like whatever you wanted to do, you can make your topics in there, and that's just going to keep things organized. If you are extra organized and you'd rather go by unit, you can do that too. So instead of having one math section, you could have like a section for patterning practice, a section for measurement practice, a section for number sense. If I was using this with my students and I was at school, I would probably just stick with these sections, but I'm considering if I'm just going to use Google Classroom now as like at home, where I'm going to upload resources for parents that they can practice at home, I might divide smaller and do like patterning, measurement, number sense, and then just let parents know like where, well, my parents will know when they read the report cards where their child might be struggling, and then they could maybe go to that section for extra practice, because I'm suspecting that we're only going to be asking our families to like practice what they can and do what they can, and everything's going to kind of be like optional free choice. So for it to make things clear, like to me, it's obvious that patterning and measurement and stuff would all fall under math, but to help my parents and make their lives as easy as possible, I might do my topics kind of more by unit instead of like a big broad umbrella, just to help them find what they need. So the people tab up here is where you'll see your students once they're in. So I don't have any students in here right now because this is just like a dummy classroom to show you what I'm doing. But once you have your students in there, this is where you're gonna see them. And to get them in there, you're gonna show them this code. So you can go back to like your home page and the code's right there. If you click this display thing, it will make the code pop up big. So if you teach like grade 4, 5, or 6, and you wanna use Google Classroom, you can get your students to do this work. Like you can give them all a Chromebook, display this on the whiteboard, and your students can type that in. Right now, when they're at home, that's not going to work. So you're going to have to send this code out, probably via email, to all of the parents in your class. So I practiced this earlier. Like I sent it to my other email myself to make sure that it would work, and it did work. So you would just kind of email it to your parents. When your parents come in to sign up, like when we went to the classroom.google.com page, when your parents want to join, they will just click, sorry, slow. They'll click that plus button. They're going to click join class, and that's where they're going to type in that class code that you'll have provided for them. So as far as I can tell, parents are gonna only be able to join if they join with their child's school email. I tried to join like my school classroom with my Gmail address and it did not work. It told me the PIN was like not valid or the code was not valid. So I'm not positive about this, but I'm pretty sure that the reason why was because it wasn't like a SEPNA email that goes with our G Suite for Education. So I think that if you want to use Google Classroom, your parents are going to have to learn how, if they don't already know how, to use their child's education email address. So me personally, I can access that information in PowerSchool. It tells me every child's email address and like their number or whatever. But if you don't want to deal with that right now, maybe save Google Classroom for next year, unless your principal's like, no, you have to use it. And then you're gonna have to figure it out. But like I've never in maternelle had my parents use their child's email. I know in the high school in my school, like the high school part, they definitely do, but I have never done that because like my students can't access their own email. It's just not really feasible in maternelle, but I might have to. Like if my principal comes back to me on Monday and says, okay, you have to post things in Google Classroom, I'm gonna have to get that info to all of my parents. So keep that in mind. You might not wanna do that right now, or maybe you really want to because you have more time to figure that out. Like this might be the perfect time for you to sort that out, but just keep that in mind. So the next step is gonna be getting your assignments into your classroom so that your students can access them and complete them and submit them. So I'm just gonna show you what I learned. If you get a resource from me, it's always gonna go this way. Like this is always how you're gonna upload it. So if there's like another way to do it from TPT where people can not upload a PDF, they just upload the thing and then you add it to your drive. I think most of the steps are the same, but if you buy something from another teacher on TPT, hopefully they'll include instructions for you because I didn't understand that way. I'm doing this PDF way now and forever. So this morning you should have gotten a freebie and it looks like this. It's just a PDF and there are instructions in here for you. If me talking is confusing, you can read them instead because they're in there and there's some with photos as well. So that might help you if me talking is confusing to you. But basically what you're gonna do is you're gonna find in every resource you would ever get from me that's a Google one, it's gonna be in a PDF and there's gonna be a link that says like click here for the worksheets, click here for the actual resource, and you're gonna click there, and what it's gonna do, of course, you're gonna need internet for this, I forgot to mention. You will need internet for a classroom and your students will need internet for a classroom. It doesn't work if you don't have internet, if you're not connected. So it's gonna prompt you to make a copy and you're gonna say yes. That is because if I don't set it up that you have to make a copy, you're gonna be changing what I made. Like you're gonna be changing the resource for every single person that has it. So like 1,000 teachers have this resource right now that I sent out this morning via email. If it doesn't make a copy and you make a change, it's gonna make a change on 1,000 different teachers' versions. So make the copy, like accept that. And when it opens in my drive, it does take a couple of minutes, like a couple of seconds, even though I have fast, quote unquote, fast internet in rural Nova Scotia, and then it's gonna open. So if you notice up here, it's called Copy of Digital Math pour la maternelle le printemps because I called it Digital Math pour la maternelle le printemps. You made a copy of it, so that's what the title is. So you're probably gonna wanna change the title. Otherwise, every single resource that you have is gonna be called Copy of, Copy of, Copy of, Copy of, and that's probably gonna be annoying. So to do that, you can just click right there. You can just take out Copy of, or you can call it whatever you want. You can just call it like math, sorry. I also have a MacBook, so Google doesn't play very nice always. You can just call it like Digital Math le printemps if you want to keep your title short. You can do whatever you want. This is your copy, your master template, just for you, so you can title it anything you want. I just want to make sure that I get to the right spot. Okay. Perfect. Next page. So to share with your students, you're gonna go back to your classroom. You can exit of this one that you just opened. You really just need to open it, change the title, close it, and you're done there. You're gonna go back to your classroom. You're gonna go back to the Classwork, and you're gonna go find your topic. And sorry. Okay, I think we're just gonna start it. You're gonna click create, and you're gonna go to assignment. So you're gonna add the title, so like math practice. I might just call it like spring themed math practice, because that's what the parents are going to see. If for my real parents, I would type it in French because I would have to. You can add it, you can put in instructions. You could be like, work on any of these sheets anytime you want, because I'm not going to be evaluating them. It's just for practice. It's just review. Then you're going to go to the add attachment button, and you're going to want to add from Google Drive, because what just happened when you opened the PDF that I sent you is that it opened up the resource in your Google Drive like that. It made a copy, it put it right in there. So you're going to click Google Drive, and make sure though you were signed in with your school account before you open my PDF, because you need the PDF to go in, or you need the resource to go into your school drive. Like that's so important. Just take away your personal drive for this whole time. Open it into your school drive. Always school drive all the time, or it's not going to work because of that extra security for our students. So since I had just opened that math one, it's in my recents. So I'm just going to click on it and add it. And there it is. So right now it says students can view file. That is probably not what you're going to want to keep, especially if it's an assignment like this where your students are going to be doing practice, because your students are just going to be able to open it and scroll through, but not actually be able to do anything with it. They're just going to only be able to look at it. So if you wanted to post something that you wanted them to like read, then maybe view file would be what you would want. But like for this, a digital resource where they're going to be moving things around, view file is not going to work for us. So we're going to click there to change it. You also probably don't want to pick edit file, except for in some very specific circumstances, because if they edit it, that means that every single student is editing that one master template that you uploaded. So, you know, if I give this sheet to Ian and to Gwyneth, both Ian and Gwyneth are going to be working on the same one. Ian's going to be going along, moving things along, and then Gwyneth is going to open it up and be like, what? This isn't right. And she's going to be changing it too. It's just not going to work. The only way that you would want to choose students can edit file would be like for a collaborative project. So if you were here yesterday and you saw Mariah's like rainbow Google Doc, where every single student is supposed to make a rainbow, take a picture of it and upload it, that would be fine for students can edit a file, because everybody's adding to the same document. But there's always the risk when you do that somebody's going to accidentally delete somebody else's answer or like change something. So just be aware. It might take some practice and some trial and error, even on the part of your parents, if it's your parents who are doing it, and some specific teaching to like remind them not to delete other people's work. But 99% of the time, you're really going to want to choose make a copy for each student, because when you make a copy for each student, everybody gets their own copy, and they're going to be able to just like submit it to you and share it to you when they're finished. So you're going to click make a copy for each student. You'll see up here at the top that it's saved. So it's good. Okay, so once they complete it, they will, I think you just hit assign there. I don't have any students, so I don't know if it's going to work, but once they complete it, they will save it and share it back to you. It's probably not going to assign because I don't actually have any students. So, oh, it worked. Okay, perfect. So let's go through. You can just drag it down. It's math, so I can just drag it down into the math topic. Let's see if it will let me go through it here, or if I have to open it. Okay, perfect. So it's going to let me go through here. So when your students open it, this is what they're going to see. If it looks familiar to you, you might own, like I have this resource not digital, like as a worksheet. It's called like Des coupes école, Math pour la maternelle, le printemps. So if you have that resource, it might look familiar, but since it's digital, I could like keep it full of color and super pretty. So this is it. This is what I sent you this morning. So in here, there's a spot you'll be able to see where your students can type their name. When they submit it back to you, you'll have their name anyway, but like you might want them to type their name just as practice, or if you give them something that you will want to print out later and display, like if you're using this in your classroom during normal school year, you definitely want them to get in the habit of typing their name, because their name's going to be there when they print it out. So it's pretty simple. I would just tell my students to practice any pages that they want. There's ones for counting, number order 1 to 10, 10 to 1. There's some for patterns. There's some for more counting. These ones are for like ordering quantities, forwards and backwards. There's 10 frames. There's a little bit of addition. We don't really do addition in maternelle where I live, but we make 10. And then there's like ordering by size, biggest to smallest, smallest to biggest. And then these ones are like sorting by size, so like big, small, and medium. So your students are actually going to be able to take their mouse, or I'm guessing their finger, on a tablet. I haven't tried on a tablet, but I think that's the point. And they can like count the eggs, and then they can just slide it right in. So they're just going to move these movable pieces in each spot. It's not self-correcting. So Boom was self-correcting. These guys are not self-correcting. But that's okay because it's good feedback for you as a teacher. If they're making some mistakes, you'll be able to know like that's not actually the right one. So if a student submitted that, you could like mark it or whatever you'd want to do. So they go in to each spot, and once they're done, like I would just ask my, like just say to my students, practice whatever you want to practice kind of thing. So like these ones, they go in order. So like 3, 4, 5, and so on. I think they're pretty obvious. The rest of them, you guys can probably figure them out. These ones would start like with the smallest. Oh, sorry, it starts with the biggest actually. It goes to the smallest. Your students will be able to complete those at home on whatever kind of device that they have. And then when they're finished, they're gonna share it back to you. So they're gonna click that. You'll have to show your parents probably how to do that. And then they'll just type your name or your email address. They'll hit done and it will like submit for them. And you, when you get it back from your students, you'll be able to like type in a comment. So if you click this little comment thing, you can type in a comment right there, like go travail, so that they know you saw it. You can like select, like if your student forgot to write their name, you could like select there and put a comment, I think, and it should attach, yeah. So you could, like, oops, if they forgot to type their name, and it will like be attached to where you highlighted kind of thing. And then your student can fix it if they unsubmit it. Anyway, so that's what the freebie looks like. Let me just make sure I went over everything. Yeah, so as I said, I'm probably just gonna post the whole thing and tell parents like, do as much or as little as they want, whichever pages their kid like. Like some kids love doing sheets like these, so they are welcome to do them all. Some kids don't love it, like 10 minutes if that's what, you know, whatever they wanna do. That's how I would use that. I wouldn't assign it like for a mark because I don't think that it's really fair. So your students will have like a turn in button when they're finished because it's their assignment, but I think I can't do that because I'm the creator. So your students will have a button that says turn in. Once they hit that turn in button, they can't make any changes afterwards unless they like unsubmit it. And when they turn it in, as students turn it in, you'll see this number going up, and that's how you know that they're ready to be like for you to look at them. So I have none turned in and none assigned because I don't have any students in my classroom, but that's what it will look like. And then you're gonna be able to see it, add your comments, mark it if you want to, whatever you wanna do. I really like the turn in thing because it's so much easier than trying to keep track of everything in your inbox. Like my email drives me nuts when it's like full of emails, and I hate like having to sort through all of that. So it's really easy for you to see your students' work. You just come here, you click on who turned it in, you can see it, you can comment right on it. It will share it back to your students. You never have to go in your inbox to sort this out. Like if you want to make 15 different comments for 15 different students, you don't have to send 15 different emails. You just come in here, you comment on it, and it's just going to go to them. You don't have to like deal with sending like emails, individual emails to every single parent. So I really like that. And then if they made a mistake, if they've turned it in and they've made a mistake and they want to fix it, there's like an unsubmit button, and then they can go back and make changes. Or if you gave them feedback that you want them to fix, they can unsubmit it and come back. So that's what I know about Google Classroom. Hopefully that helped. There are a lot of YouTube videos, like if you wanted to see more. So you'll see when I posted the new assignment, it shows up in the stream, so everybody will see it. And yeah, so hopefully that made sense. I'll come back and see if there's any questions maybe. Oh, hang on. Do I want to do that? Okay, I'll stop sharing. Come back and see if there's any questions. Okay. Do they get email notifications when you comment on the work? I'm pretty sure yes, Alex. There might be like a setting you would have to find and play with, but I'm 99% sure that they will get email notifications after you comment and you like share it back. But sometimes I know, like yesterday, for example, Mariah shared a document with me and I didn't get an email saying that she had shared it with me. So I think it's in the settings. Like I probably just have a setting turned off, right? Because I don't like getting emails. Probably one day I was frustrated and I was like, stop sending me emails. And I went into my Google Drive and I turned that off. But I'm pretty sure the default is that yes, if you share something back to your students, they're gonna get an email. I'll go see if I can see anything in Facebook right now, but probably I can only see 4 comments because Facebook's mean like that. And then I'm just going to show you really quickly because I know we're busy, but I'll show you a little bit about Google Meet. I couldn't sort it all out. Like it just wasn't working properly for me. Oh no, now I ruined it. Hang on. Sorry. I think since I have 8,000 tabs open, my computer doesn't always work smoothly. Okay, I'm just gonna come look at the live. If there's any questions, just where I finish Google Classroom before we move on to the next topic. Okay, how do you create another account to test it as if you were a student? I would say, I'm not sure. I don't know if you can, Lawrence. That's why I was showing you with my Gmail because I hadn't figured out how to like make a dummy student account because it's with G Suite for Education and like I'm not the owner of that for my school. So that's why I was showing you with just the regular Gmail one. But maybe if you have a parent who's like I have a class rep parent in my class and she helps me with everything. So I would ask her probably, can I just like, can you show me with your own child's email if it's working or not working? Like that's what I do. I would just reach out to a parent and ask them. Oh, no, that one. Any other questions quickly before? If you typed one in earlier, I can't see it. Where do you type in your students' names? So you won't type in your students' names. They're gonna type, like once you give them the code and they are in your class, their name's just gonna pop up on its own. So as soon as all you have to do, Shauna, is give them the code for your classroom. They will sign in with their school email and then their name's just gonna come up all on its own because it's already connected with their Google Suites for Education email. So that makes it a little easier than Boom. Like with Boom, you have to type it all in, but for Google Classroom, you do not. Stephanie, you didn't get an email this morning. I did send one to everybody, and I said it sent, maybe check your spam, or sometimes the email service provider, like people's emails get blocked and I have no idea why. Like it's just luck of the draw. Like it says, oh, this person maybe marked you as spam, or like this person, maybe their server blocked you or whatever. Like there's nothing I can do about it, but I'll post the freebie in the Facebook group too, Stephanie, maybe, and you can find it in there. And I'll send it out again tonight, I guess. Okay, are we good for questions for Classroom? If you typed one in earlier, I can't see it. I can only see the 4 most recent. Okay, I'm gonna show you Meet. I'll go back and I will share my screen again. I'll show you what I've been able to figure out, which is not everything, but some things. Okay, so just like when we typed in classroom.google.com, for Meet, you would just type in meet.google.com and it will come up. My default seems to be my school one in French. Like I can't get out of this with my French school email account. Like I tried all morning to like use it with my Gmail, could not. So I don't know if like Meet is just special for Google Suites for Education maybe, and you can't use it with regular Gmail. I don't know. Whatever the case, this is what I see when I go to Google Meet. And then right here is where you're just gonna start your meeting. So all you have to do is type in your own code. I guess you get your own code, and then you continue, and then you would give people the code that you typed in, and that's how they would go. And then when you hit continue, it just like pops up and your video will be there. One thing that I'm pretty sure, we had a staff meeting yesterday with Google Meet, and one thing that I noticed, it didn't seem like my principal, unless he just didn't know how, it didn't seem like he could mute or unmute other people. So with Zoom, you can mute and unmute other people, but when I did it with my staff meeting, it seemed like he couldn't do that unless he just maybe didn't know how, but people were just muting and unmuting themselves. So that might be frustrating for you if your students aren't meeting themselves properly. But we did get an email. I said at the beginning of the live today that our board got an email this morning saying not to use Zoom at this time because they haven't had a chance to like check the security and all that stuff. So it's not on the approved sites list. So we've been told to use Google Classroom if we want to do a video. So just be aware of that. Like I said in my email, like definitely check with your district first, because even though Zoom seems like it would be easier for those features, it might not be allowed depending on your school. So when I YouTubed how to schedule a Google meeting in advance, like that one that I just showed you is like on the fly. So if you could tell your parents ahead of time, okay, at 2:30 I'm going to be going on Google Live, like check your, or Google Meet, check your email, I'll send you the code right away at 2:30, and you could do it that way. But when I YouTube it, it says go to your calendar. So I'll go to my calendar. Don't judge my calendar, it's very full of stuff. But that's how I keep myself organized. So this is my, sorry, must be my, hang on, we'll wait and see what it loads. Which calendar it is. Okay, so this is my personal like Google Calendar that I use with my Gmail. So if I wanted to schedule a Google Meet for tomorrow, what YouTube tells me to do is to like click here, type in like whatever the title of your meeting would be, and then go here and click add location or conferencing. And when you add conferencing, you're supposed to be able to schedule to get the link. So as you can see, I do not get a link, and it says Hangouts. And like, that's what I get. It doesn't say Meet. Meet is like the new version of Hangouts. So I'm just kind of wondering if maybe Meet is special for Google Suites for Education and like the general population can't use it yet. I'm not sure, but Hangouts is my only option, and I do not get a link. But every YouTube video that I looked at, a link would pop up and you would just share that link. So if you have a Google Calendar, maybe give it a try. You can just start one anytime, like you don't have to use it every single day. But if you like try in your Google Calendar to do that, maybe you'll get a link there. And then if you get a link there, that's what you would share. And then that's how you schedule it ahead of time. You can only schedule it ahead of time via Google Calendar. And I guess only certain people can schedule it ahead of time via Google Calendar. So that's going to be maybe frustrating for me, because I like to, like, as you can tell by looking at my calendar, have things kind of like all set up ahead of time so that I can visualize my week. But it's not going to work out for me, so I'm going to have to deal. What I'm going to do is just email my parents. If I do videos, I'm going to email them and be like, okay, so on Monday at 2:30, I'm going to be going live. Check your email at 2:25. I'm going to give you the code. At 2:25, I'll start the meeting, type in the code, email the code to all my parents, which is going to be super frustrating, but like, c'est la vie. I don't know. Technology is what technology is. And then at 2:30, like, I'll actually start my teaching. So it's extra steps. Kim just asked if I liked Zoom or Google Meet better. I like Zoom better, but I don't like to put my students' like data in danger if that's a thing. So if my school board says don't use Zoom, then I will not use Zoom, because like their safety, of course, is super important to me. But for me personally, for all my Facebook Lives, I will be using Zoom. Hopefully nothing bad will happen to us, but I do like Zoom better. But if my school board says use Google Meet, then I will sort it out and I will use Google Meet and find a solution. But yeah, Zoom I find more intuitive and easier, and it has like more features, whereas Google Meet is just kind of like just a meeting. But yeah, so that's that. If you guys don't have any questions, I mean, you can ask your questions. I'm not sure if I'll be able to answer them, but you can ask them. And for Google Meet, the principal can't mute people. Everyone has to mute themselves. Yeah, that's what I thought. So Kimberly in the Facebook group said, principal, like, you can't mute your students. They have to mute themselves. So that might take some like training and practice and explicit teaching before you even start teaching your real lesson. You're probably gonna have to teach your students how to like turn their mics on and off and like practice that. I would definitely invest the time to practice that ahead of time if you're gonna be using Google Meet. So Andrea just asked what features Zoom has. That would be the big one, is that you can mute or unmute everybody else. So like it's hard to teach, as you all know, because we're interrupted constantly, but it's hard to teach in a classroom when you're being interrupted. It's harder to teach if people have their mics on and there's feedback and there's background noise and there's babies in the background and older siblings and parents. Like, it's going to be noisy with Zoom, with Google Meet. But Zoom, you could mute all of that and you can decide. Zoom, you can also share the mouse. So I could give mouse control to another student to like complete an activity, whereas Google Meet, as far as I can tell, you cannot do that. I haven't been able to find it. So that's why I like Zoom better. But obviously privacy and data protection is super important. So like, yeah. Would I put the event into my work email calendar? Yes, absolutely, Sarah. I'm just like, I don't want to like show my work email or my work email calendar like on this video, just in case I have something of a student that like would pop up or whatever, just for their privacy. But I would absolutely put the event in your work email calendar versus your personal. Everything that you're going to be doing, like adding the resources to Classroom, doing a Google Meet, anything, all of that, do it with your school email. Like, definitely you don't want to mix your personal stuff. Can I show the parents my screen on Google Meet? That's a great question, Shauna. I think you can. Does anybody know if you can share your screen in Google Meet? I feel like I read during my research this morning that you can, but I'll see in the comments if anybody knows if you can or if you can't. And then you can probably hear Leah crying. Her daddy is trying hard, but I think she just wants me. Yes, you can. Jen says you can. Perfect. So I'm going to announce the winners of the challenge, and then I'm going to go snuggle my sad girl. So what I did to pick the winners is I like put everyone in a spreadsheet with a number, and then I like go to this random number generator website. It's pretty simple, and then I type in the range, and then number pops up, and the person who is in the spreadsheet in that column is the winner. So it's complicated, takes a long time, so thank you for giving me like an hour and a half to sort that all out. But I have the winners drawn. So there's 3 winners from the straight line one. So the first winner was number 104, and that was Lori Fulford Mason. I'm sorry if I said that wrong because my writing's really messy, so I maybe didn't write that wrong. But anyway, Lori Mason, you won $10 to TPT. The second winner was almost Madame Mariah, and I was almost like, oh no, like I can't have my friend win, but luckily it was the person after Madame Mariah. So it's Caroline, and you're the Caroline whose name, like on Facebook, it's like Caro and then a space and then Lynn. And I think I have your email because you had emailed me tonight. So Caroline, I'm not sure what your last name is, but you were the second winner. And then the third person was number 14, who was Shannon McQueen. So you 3, Lori, Caroline, and Shannon, you all won $10 to DPT. And then the grand prize winner, who gets $25 to DPT and $25 to chapters, so you can get digital resources for your students, but also books for you, because now is the time to read them, or like reading socks or whatever else you love from chapters. It's my personal favorite source, so everything is great to buy there. So the big winner of the grand prize was number 70, and number 70 was Isabel Lacroix. So Isabel, you are the winner. You guys should email me, except for Carolyn, I have your email, but it can be hard for me to find you in my system. So if you're watching right now, email me and it will be faster. And if not, I will sit down after Leah's done with her napping and stuff, and I will find your email in my system. If not, but if you're here live, email me because it will be faster. AndreaMFancy@gmail.com. So luckily it wasn't Mariah. Yes, Mariah. It was lucky it wasn't you because everyone thinks that it was fixed. So Joanne asked if you can invite people to Google Meet even if they aren't using a school Gmail. If you use your personal Gmail, you could, but I am 99% sure if you're using your school Gmail address, you're only going to be able to invite school people. I'm pretty sure. It's extra secure, and like they really took the privacy and security settings seriously. Like you can't even send a Google form half the time to people that don't have a school email address. I did figure out how to fix that. So maybe there's a setting you can change, but yeah, I'm pretty sure you need to have the school email. And then Michelle asked if I have any more resources like that. I don't have them now, but I'm working on them. That's my plan for next week because I think my students are really going to like them. Like they like the manipulativeness of them. So I'm going to work on more Fast Fantastic for Boom. I'm going to work on the rest of my like math sheets like that to start. I'm trying really hard to make digital resources that are as close as possible to what I use in the classroom, because I think that's, like Mariah said yesterday, that's going to help my students feel better about it and be more successful. So my first goals are to like repurpose things that we use in my classroom for my students. Andrea, for the Google form, to fix it, I had to like go into the settings, and there's a security one, and the default was only people with the school email can use it, and I just had to like click another box that said anybody can fill it out. Okay, so I'm gonna go see Leah. Thank you everybody, and congrats to Lori and Carolyn and Shannon and Isabel on your wins. Email me. Otherwise, I will email you later on tonight. Thank you. This week was a blast. I'll email you the replay tonight as well, and I'll link the freebie again in case you missed it this morning. And yeah, this week was super fun. If I hear of any other challenges, spoiler alert, Mariah's going to do one, I will email you about it so you can join. I think if I try another challenge right away, my husband will probably divorce me. But if this continues on for a long time, then I'll do another challenge like later on once I'm a good mom for a little while. All right, thank you guys. It was great to see you. Thank you so much for the best week ever. Definitely much better for me than last week was. I was very lonely and bored and sad. So see you guys later.